Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloim La, Yahweh Bashim Yom Shai Bashim, Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the Apostle Elders Great Millstone, peace, blessing, salutation to the hopefully elect. Brother Isaiah with the pizza. Salaki, Brother Isaiah with the Pittsburgh GMS camp. Coming to you with another lesson to the Spirit and power. Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim, Rakah HaKodash, Lord willing. This lesson is edifying. It's a response to a video brother here, Elder, when I just did. Basically this guy here, he hurt, and I want to clue in on a particular thing he said. This clip is 2 minutes and 53 seconds long. I'm not gonna force you to hear, what the guy said. I'm gonna just play the beginning.
Can you believe you are a biblical man of God and still be racist? Yes, you sir.
So, these people, they have their convictions and they get on these videos and they, insinuate the T's racist. And they're pissed off and they're hurt and they're mad and, they wanna, the Hebrew Israelites are bastards and they want to come up with all these different doctrines, neither Jew nor Greek. Which, why does it say only Jew and Greek? Neither male nor female. We're all, and there's a spiritual Israel. Okay, prove what you say. Okay, prove what you say. The scriptures say prove all things. And you guys have a misconception of the scriptures. You do err not knowing the scriptures, nor understanding the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, Esau, there's no salvation for Esau. And I do blame, these other camps for oversimplifying the gospel, because, every time they speak about Esau, it's kind of good to include, if you can through the Spirit, to include the fact that there will be some people who look like so-called white people who are actually Hebrew Israelites, whose bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so there are Israelites who look like so-called white people. So you can't have a skin color doctrine. So when you say the so-called white man, you kind of want to quantify that. Okay, you want to make that, and let me make sure I'm using that word right, and then we'll get right into the lesson. Okay, quantify. Okay, express to measure the quantity of, to make explicit. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're being very accurate in the way that you to logic to specify the quantity of a term by using a quantifier. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you properly gauge what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, Israelites will look like so-called white people. So this is not a skin color doctrine. And these people like this like to harp on skin color, with these dumb look in their eyes, because he doesn't understand the scriptures. So let's get into this word racist. And to those who are believers, you know this, right? You know this, but there's something I want to go into, and this is the Spirit. I was just talking about this with one of my family members. We were just speaking about this, and I was saying to them how, Esau works witchcraft with words, and we spoke about the word racism in particular, and how this individual I was speaking with, they're very knowledgeable when it comes to words. I like to call them a walking thesaurus. I joke with them that, hey, yeah, I'll start to tell them how to spell something, and then I end up saying to myself, this person can spell, so I don't have to tell them how to spell. They're better at me than spelling. So anyway, when it comes to spelling. So, anyway, we got into as it says here, we got into word structure briefly. Now, we didn't get deep into it. And so I looked this up, word structure. Word structure, also known as morphology, refers to the way words are formed and organized from smaller units of meaning called morphemes. It involves studying the rules that govern how morphemes combine to create larger words. Morphemes, these are the smallest meaningful units in a language. They can be roots like play and player, or prefixes like re and reconnect, or suffixes like ing and walking. Okay? Morphological awareness and understanding how morphemes work helps in recognizing and understanding unfamiliar words. Affixation, adding affixes, prefixes, and suffixes to a word changes its meaning and or it's part of speech, right? And so that's what I want to start off by speaking about word structure. Now we talked about affixes just now, meaning prefixes and suffixes, right? So let's get the suffix ist. The suffix ist signifies a person who practices, is skilled in, or is associated with a particular thing or field. So it can also be denoting an inherent belief or ideology. Examples include artist, scientist, pianist, socialist. A person who practices, is skilled in, or is associated with a particular thing or field. That's the core understanding of, one who, an expert in, or a believer in. So you either, if you're a race, then you're a believer in your race, you're an expert in your race, or one who, what? An artist, biologist. So the word racist is newspeak. So let's get that term newspeak. Definition according to Merriam-Webster: propagandistic language marked by euphemism. Let's get euphemism. I'm saying, okay, paste and go. A mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something else. So there's one, it's a euphemism. Let's get circumlocution, however you say that shit. The use of many words where fewer would do, especially in a deliberate attempt to be vague or evasive. And then let's get this other one. And the inversion of customary meanings. Okay? So really that word racist, let's see if there's an etymology for the word racist. Let's see how old this word is. Let's see, how would you even spell it? Is it like, it's gotta be R-A-S like this. 1932. This word is as new as 1932. It's an adjective from 1938 from race and ist. Now, for all intents and purposes, the word race and ist, we've already gone over the suffix ist. So it should only be clumped into these things: one who, or expert in, or a believer in. But as we know, as under the definition of newspeak, the eversion of the customary meaning of race and ist put together is what we see here. Racism is in use by 1928, originally in the context of fascist theories, and common from 1936. These words replaced earlier racialism and racialist, both often used early 20th century in a British or South African context. There are isolated uses of racism from circa 1900. Returning recently from a 6-month trip to Europe, blah, blah, blah. See, warned at a dinner given in his honor that forces of racism are increasing. Earlier, race hatred, race hatred, 1852, of the Balkans. Okay, and of white and black in America. Race prejudice. So these are the things that should be said, but they've just created a word that's easy to coin, a word that's easy to say, so that they can etch it into people's minds. They created the term racist and gave it a meaning that really, this is what you think when you hear racist. You hear race hatred. But based off of the suffix ist, the word race and ist shouldn't mean hatred. Neither one of those words mean hatred. IST doesn't mean hatred. RACE doesn't mean hatred. It just means race. You see? You got foot races and you got races of people. So race and ist shouldn't equal hate. But through witchcraft with words, they've created such a thing. Okay? Negrophobia, Anglo-Saxonism as belief in the superiority of the English race has been used disparagingly from 1860. Anti-Negro. So you're seeing all these different words that have been linked with the word racism. So yeah, I just want to go into that. There's not many scriptures. I'll get a. Let's get this, and I'll end it. Isaiah 29 and 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. All right, so you individuals, you know, you watching it, you want something to happen to us. You want somebody to unalive us and take us off the street corners because we're ruining your comfortability here in Babylon the Great. We're telling you that your Messiah, who you've grown to love, that he's going to be destroyed, and you can't handle it. You can't take it. Okay? You just can't take it. And so yeah, you're gonna be destroyed. Okay? He that condemneth the just and justifieth the wicked, even they both are an abomination. And that's what you're doing. By you saying that those people that are taking over our lands are the people, you're justifying the wicked, and you're condemning the just, which are breaking down the strongholds of his lives. Okay? So with that, and the Lord's going to destroy you, man. Thus saith the Bible. So with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Baruch HaKodash. Okay, double honor to the apostle, elders, of great millstone. Peace, blessed, salutation to the elect. Shalom. Till next time, shalom.